What is up guys, Andy Forest Dean Runner here, out in a stunning Forest of Dean, and today we are joined by Matt, the Welsh runner.
Hi guys.
And today we're going to be talking all about how training's been, how it's been since having the marathon, what we've got planned for the December and January period, leading into potentially Gloucester half marathon or Gloucester marathon in January, depending on which option we choose. But before we do, just want a quick shout out to Matt. He has a YouTube channel, The Welsh Runner. This man runs a 2:29 marathon, a 31-minute 10k, and a 108 half marathon. Mind-blowing stuff. All his social media details are in the description below. Make sure you go and subscribe to Matt's channel. He's put out some great videos lately of some races he's done this year, and some very frank and honest conversations about the Frankfurt Marathon that he ran recently, which was very inspiring. So make sure you go check those out. And without further ado, let's dive in to the training talk. So 2019 is coming to an end. I cannot believe I'm saying this because of course it felt like only yesterday we were recording the 2019 goals video, and there's been a real lack of training videos from my part over the last month or two, just because I'm absolutely flat out busy with everything. But I just need to sit down and go through with you guys a fair few things, including, fingers crossed, a solution to the stitch that has been plaguing our racing all through 2019. Of course, how training's been going since Abingdon Marathon to now, what we're going to be training and doing between now, December, and into January, before my third child is due in February. And then of course the last race this weekend, Gloucester 10k, literally the last race of 2019. Super excited for that race, but also gutted because it's the last one. But 2020 spells a fresh start, and I can't wait to get some races booked up for 2020. So let's start off with the stitch issue. It's something you guys have been really supportive of, providing sort of helpful tips along the way. And actually, when I mentioned this issue back last year when I was starting to suffer with the stitches, someone got it spot on, but I didn't know at the time until I got diagnosed. The long and short of it is I had a sports massage 2 or 3 weeks ago. They unknotted my diaphragm, which was just in pieces, and then all up here, every time they were trying to unknot my diaphragm or just kind of stretch out the muscles, they were going into spasm. They just didn't know how to react, and it took quite a while, and it was very painful, I'm not going to lie, but we got there in the end, and I think that contributed to a successful New at 9 this weekend, combined with some other bits and pieces that I have been doing, which I'll come to now. And then we discussed then, and when they were massaging the diaphragm, they could feel the air pockets, the bloatedness, and said you really should get some allergy testing done. So I finally bit the bullet and got some allergy testing done. Now, as always with allergy testing, you get sent there and you get tested for various foods and sort of surround, like grass, and all environmental factors is a good word to use, and all that sort of stuff. And I wasn't allergic to any of that, but certain foods were flagging up. The things that I knew, wheat, yeast, were a bit of a trigger for me at the moment, which I kind of knew because I've been eating a lot of gluten-free products lately to help calm the stomach. Other surprising things came up, like eggs. I'm a vegetarian, for those of you who don't know. I don't really talk about my diet on this channel, but I don't eat meat, but I'm not vegan. I sit in the middle. I'm a vegetarian, so I can't, it's not that I can't have, but eggs are a bit of a trigger at the moment. Sugar is quite a trigger, and I notice that a lot when I eat sugary things. My stomach flares up. Mushrooms, which is frustrating because I eat a lot of corn, which is a replacement substitute meat protein, and that's made from fungi, mycelium, mushrooms. It's from that family. So I've got to lay off that a little bit as well and find some other protein sources like nut butters, chickpeas, lentils, all of that stuff. Tomatoes, and a few other bits and pieces. And nothing flashed up major until they tested for candida, and that came back positive. For those of you who don't know what candida is, I told my friend James to Google it. It comes up in women. It's kind of like it can cause other issues to what I am having. I'll let you Google it. But it's basically, the long and short of it is, and I'm still trying to understand it as well, but Candida is a bacteria or an enzyme or whatever you want to label it in everyone's stomach. And sometimes if there becomes too much Candida, or the Candida kind of takes over, it can react and cause this permanent fermenting process in your stomach, which is exactly what I've been saying to you guys. I've been feeling like this permanent, like it's a hostile environment, and it kind of explains why I can't fuel and take on gels, because they're high in sugar, and everything sugary going into my stomach sends it into just this horrible spasm and pain. So it all kind of makes sense. So what I basically have to do, the long and short of it, is for a month I have to go on a more alkaline diet, because with Candida you have quite an acidic diet, and your stomach is very acidic, so I need to provide my stomach with more alkaline foods, lots more fruits and vegetables. I eat my fair share of fruits and vegetables anyway, but just incorporate it with a bit more variety, and just try and settle that for a month, and then I can start reintroducing things like the bread, the yeast, the sugar, the eggs, all of that. So it's not a permanent thing, but it is going to take me up till Christmas to hopefully get this settled. I'm genuinely, after 2 or 3 days, already feeling a massive difference. My stomach is permanently settled and not bloating whatsoever. So I'm just going to persist and carry on, because I do want to get back to eating bread in moderation and things like that. It is it is my weakness. So anyway, that is, fingers crossed, going to be a solution to the stitches that we're getting, because as you guys know, that was a permanent bubbling sensation in my stomach. And then of course we go on to the training. I'm looking at winter now as a bit of a base phase. I've not got anything planned. The only thing I potentially have is the Gloucester Half Marathon or the Gloucester Marathon in January. And we're going to approach that in exactly the same way that we approached Abingdon Marathon this year. No specific marathon training other than some long run workouts, because I don't want the pressure. I just want to go, run the distance easy and have some fun. But fingers crossed, by that time I'll be able to fuel a little bit better and put in a better performance and not fade towards the end. So that's the only thing we have planned. So I'm going to really take this opportunity now for the next 6 to 8 weeks to really work on the base phase and some strength work, which means the majority of my runs are going to be easy, tempo and hills. Those are going to be a collection of my runs. I am going to sprinkle in some interval work. I'm not going to do interval work every week. I'm going to do it every other week, because it's healthy to sprinkle in some shorter, faster anaerobic work, VO2 max stuff. And I am going to try and keep the intervals in that range, not 2, 3, 4, 5 minute repetitions, but shorter track style repetitions, 200s, 400s, 600s, 800s, that sort of thing. So those are going to be the reps that I'm going to be doing. But in amongst that, it's pretty much going to be hill work, easy running and tempo work. For those of you that follow me on Strava, you'll see I've been doing a hill session every week. It's been enjoyable, it's been hard, but I'm enjoying it. And if I'm not doing a hill session that week, that's because my race is hilly. I didn't do a hill session last week because I had the Newent 9 this weekend, and that was a hilly race. So that's going to be my plan moving forward into 2020. Then of course we approach Gloucester 10k this weekend, which fingers crossed, will be stitch free for, because I will keep my stomach bloating levels at a low. And then of course shooting for the best time that we can possibly get. This year 10Ks have been frustrating for me. I shot for a sub 36 5 times over the summer period, and we came close, that close 2 or 3 times. A couple of them we were quite far away, but the best was 36:10. So I'm really hoping that I can go out there and deliver a good performance for myself just to wrap up the year. I'm not looking for a sub 36, I'm looking for a stitch free race, and as always, just to run strong. So that kind of wraps up the training in terms of how it's been. As I said, from Abingdon, it's been a week off, 25 miles, and last week was 38 miles. This week we'll hopefully topple 40 miles, and then we're going to get back into the 45, 50, and then fingers crossed we will sit at 50 for as long as we can during this base phase and get that aerobic work done and dusted. So that, guys, is a bit of a wrap on training. I'm sorry I waffled on, but there was so much to cover. If you are still here at the end of the video, you definitely need to smack that like button, because you deserve a medal. So there we go. Hopefully that's covered everything. I'm looking forward to producing more videos again in regular context next week. If you enjoyed it, as always, give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly run content, do all that good stuff. And I will see you after Gloucester for the race report. Until then.